I'm going to get things set up here and I'm going to tell you how this works. Now, we're going to be playing Universe Mode here in SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 up until the end of TLC. At which point, we're going to switch over to WWE 12. And whatever champions that we end with in SVR 2011, we're going to carry those champions over into 12. Same with rivalries, teams, so on and so forth. Now, obviously, not all characters carry over into the following game. What I do about that, I'll have to figure out. But this is something I've been wanting to do for a long time. I've been wanting to do a universe mode series that spans across multiple games and carries continuity over from game to game. I just think that would be really fun. I think that would be something that we could all get super fucking invested into. And we'll start our multi-game journey with a draft week. Now, obviously, SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 does not have a draft mechanic. So here's what we're gonna do to compensate for that, okay? I thought about it a little bit, and I figured that the best thing that we could do is just do custom matches for the first week. Yeah, someone like Kidd isn't going to be in every game. Well, I mean, Tyson Kidd's gonna be in the next game. He'll be here for the next while. But you know who's not gonna be here? Guys like Shelton Benjamin. Guys like Shad Gaspard. Some of the legends, you know? A lot of these characters don't carry over into the following games, you know? I don't really know what we're gonna do about that. I think that the end universe explanation is that they get signed away to TNA. I'm pretty sure that's what we go with, right? I'm pretty sure that's what we're gonna go with. But first off, chat, I do have a question for you. And that is, where does the Nexus go? Because personally, I think that the Nexus go to Raw, you know? Raw, yeah. Okay, good. I'm keeping the music muted and just playing playing Fortnite lobby music while we figure things out here. About to say Zach. Does that say, guys? Do you see Justin Gabriel? There he is. All right, there we go. Cool. Raw, baby. Cool. Great. I'm glad that we're all on the same page there. David Otunga being world champ is going to change lives, though. Dude, I've seen my New Legacies WWE 12 universe mode, and that shit changed my life. I don't know about you. But seeing this version of Wade Barrett is weird to me. David Otunga, this music makes me want to dance. This right here is No Sweatin'. It is the lobby music that was big when I started playing Fortnite back in 2023. I don't really play it that much anymore, but you know, for a time I did, and this was my favorite menu music. Oh, hey, oh, oh, hey, oh. When you're standing next to me, yeah, you know you feel the pow. I remember a long time ago, I was like gassing up that theme big style, and as we were watching, and as we were listening to it on stream, I felt my take on it change in real time, and I was like really embarrassed about it. Like, I don't know, I mean, like, it's, you know, it's a fun theme, but it's not like goated or anything. It really does speak to like the talent of like Jim Johnston, that he can give even like the lowest of prospects in WWE some really killer music. Have you ever played the Save the World campaign? I've not, no. It was catchy for the time, still is. I mean, it's a fun piece of music. Whenever you can, I sent you something on Discord, LMAO. It's all about me. It's all about the. Oh my god, it's a fucking gif of David Otunga with like the tightest shirt of all time, crossing his arms, and the caption above him is, "If it's all about me, it's all about the power." It's painted on. That's how tight it is. That shit is not painted on. Chat, look at this, okay? I implore you to take a look at this. Hold on. Is this shit painted on? This shirt is not painted on, dude. I can see the sleeve. Do it again. Now I'm saying it's so tight on him. It looks painted, dude. He's got like the broad shoulders that Peter Parker had in Spider-Man 2 on PS2. You could border off entire countries with his goddamn shoulders. No, if anything, no, Ritsu, you're right. If anything looks painted on, it's his beard. That shit looks like it was drawn on with like permanent marker. This shit is so uncanny. Well, yes, hello. My name is David Otunga, and if it is all about me, it is all about the power as well. Oh wayo. Otunga got his shit fucked up, bro. The people he was having a sleepover with pulled a prank on him, and now this is his facial hair for like the next week. Drawn on every single morning. It was Gabriel and Wade. those goofsters. Otunga doesn't quite know it was Gabriel and Wade, despite seeing Wade Barrett have an electric trimmer in his jean pocket. But really, who knows why it's there, you know? Maybe he keeps it on his person for you know, safekeeping. For, you know, the moments where you just need a close shave. The Save the World campaign is free now. I mean, like, maybe I'll try it if I ever go back to Fortnite, but at the moment I don't really have much of a desire to. What I do have a desire to do is play SVR 2011. Now, chat, I just think it would be funny for this to happen. We have a John Cena for every season here. We have John Cena orange on Raw, John Cena purple on SmackDown. I heard WWE fans were super pissed when Pat McAfee was revealed as Randy Orton's mystery partner for WrestleMania. Wait, mystery partner? Is it not a singles match now? because like I was under the impression that the match with Cody was a singles match. Cena Orange and Cena Purple is just Muta and Muto. Which one is which? I mean, between all of these guys, which one is which? Cena Orange is Muto, Purple is Muta. Alright, does Cena Purple have like a secret protege in the mountains then? Is that what's happening here? But now chat. Possibly. Fan-fucking-tastic. Hold on. Give me just a second here. Now chat. I brought back, before we get into the actual draft itself, I brought in back the Sexay Yeti. And I only have one question. Do I give him the Intercontinental Championship? Because we finished off 2010 with the Sexay Yeti as Intercontinental Champion. Do we give it back to him? Will anyone be competing for the ECW title, the best ECW title? This one? How about this? If you remind me, right? Remind me in like 2 hours when we get through all of like the draft matches. And we'll have a fun little battle royal for the ECW championship. Okay? God, look at this tiny list of titles, chat. Look at this tiny ass list of belts. This was so humble back then. Oh wait, hold on. And now there's so fucking many. I know, and you need to buy all of them every single fucking time. Isn't that fantastic? If there's one thing I don't like about these, like older wrestling games, it's that you can't vacate belts. In order to vacate the belt, you need to like give them to somebody that's not on your roster anymore. Rather like give them to someone that's not like on Raw or SmackDown. So fuck it. Jimmy Snuka is now the World Tag Team Champion. But wearing the WWE Spinner Belt transform you into a superhero if you pose just right. Well, we should probably ask MVP about that because right now he is the WWE Champion because he won the belt in a battle royal at WrestleMania. Where are the bodies, Jimmy? And where's your son, Jimmy Snuka Jr.? Wait, can I give him both tag belts? Ah, really? Come on. Lies, he won a triple threat between Cena and Orton. Oh yeah, that's right, I'm sorry. And you have to shout Henshin when wearing the spinner belt. Wait, why do I have to shout Henshin? Where does it say that in the bylaws? But no, chat. Here's how this is going to work. Jimmy Snuka's son versus Richie Steamboat with a main event at WrestleMania in the right universe. It's gotta be Deuce and or... Dude, it's gotta be Deuce versus Richie Steamboat. It cannot be Jimmy Snuka Jr. It has to be Deuce. Alright. So... here's our first match of the evening, right? Here's our first match on Monday Night Raw. We have Matt freaking Hardy competing for a draft spot for SmackDown here. And he'll be going up against... Chat, who is Matt freaking Hardy going up against? You know what? We were on the topic of ECW earlier. We gotta have two ECW legends here. Matt Hardy versus Mark Henry. And again, whoever wins this match gets a draft spot for their brand. It'll be this way for the next 10 matches. Yes, it might transform you to the Hurricane. I think, listen, if you shout Henshin and you transform into the Hurricane, I think that would be fucking beast as hell. Alright, here we go. First match of the evening. Wait, well, Jeff freaking Hardy. I'm afraid he's in TNA right now, bud. Oh, yeah! There he is with his baggy ass, poorly rendered pantaloons.
136 pounds, Matt Hardy.
Because that's what you're supposed to do when you use a belt to transform into a Japanese superhero. Well, I feel like only Yoshitatsu would say that, right? I feel like at that point, only Yoshitatsu would say it. But yeah, we're gonna be having these fucking draft matches on Raw, SmackDown, and Superstars, okay? So we have 10 matches to get through here, each of them with a draft spot on the line.
And his opponent from Silsbee, Texas.
I'm glad Mark Henry survived the chocolate drop.
Is the world's strongest man, Mark Henry.
Because ECW is dead. Well, that's why we need to have this match here. This here is a match between two ECW legends, Zach. You gotta get with the program, buddy. But I have an incredible main event in mind, chat. You're gonna love it, I bet. Hopefully. Mark Henry with the sweatiest palms on the planet. Don't worry, man. I know draft week can be a little nerve-wracking, but it's all right. All right, cool. Well, we need music then. Here we are.
He's wearing him down with a very effective submission hold.
Mark Henry already going for the submissions in this match.
I'll never understand why.
Wait, hold on. Dude, Matt stayed in that for like 10 seconds. What? Real, exactly. Please push Yoshi things. I don't know, man. I fucking saw Yoshi in the Mario movie last night, and I wasn't too impressed. Mark Henry telling Matt to slow it down. yeah, like he was down there calling spots. We got a true ring general in this ring, and Matt freaking Hardy.
Oh, what an elbow drop. Look at this.
It's been all Mark Henry from like the very first moments of this matchup, but Matt Hardy's fighting back until he wasn't with the giant shove, and now Mark Henry's back to going to work on Matt freaking Hardy.
Oompa loompa doompity dee, it's sexual chocolate Mark Henry.
Dude, the homunculus's, like, you know, enunciation of Henry was incredible.
Episodic television show in history. This is Monday Night Raw. Well, listen, we knew this was going to be close. If he can lash out with one of those signature moves,
Dude.
he'll be right back in this.
Dude, Matt Hardy's getting his shit pushed in here.
In the near 400 pounds comes
Mark Henry was telling him, I'm gonna go over tonight, brother. It's time for Raw to get a draft pick. The guy running this universe is really in favor of Friday Night SmackDown.
the tension.
As he should be.
Drama.
This is electric.
Ah, look
Wait, wait, hold on, what? Holy shit! Fucking Samoa drop from Matt Hardy? Wow. Okay, okay, Matt Hardy's fighting back. Matt Hardy's fighting back, y'all. Irish whip it to the corner. Oh, damn, the neck breaker, like coming off of the turnbuckle? That's crazy. He really loves, like, this headlock and into the elbow strike maneuver here, it seems like. But no, like, out of the things I expect from Sonic 4, Dan, to go back to what you were saying, I don't really want too much. I just kind of want, you know, good characterization for Amy. I would like, you know, I would like Sonic Adventure content in there. Specifically the Chaos fight, which seems like they might be alluding to that in the teaser. In fact, you know, if I were Paramount and Sega, I would be making sure that if Chaos is in the movie, I'm keeping that shit a secret. I'm keeping that shit a ginormous secret. But speaking of Amy, and Sonic characters in general, I need to show you all something real fast. While this match is going down, I need to show you guys something. Something absolutely beautiful.
If anybody has the strength to win this match, it's Mark Henry.
And it is... And it's a compilation of a whole bunch of different Sonic characters as horses. And Mark Henry wins in a very dominant performance. Mario, I am the Master Hand. I'm here to talk to you, Luigi, about the Smash Brothers initiative. Oh, fucking hell, dude. I'm surprised that, like, the Mario movie didn't have, like, a lot more Nintendo stuff in it. Like, spoiler, there are a couple, like, you know, cameos from non-Mario things.
Here's your winner.
In fact, one of them's pretty large. But I was kind of expecting, more than what we got. There you go, Mark Henry wins the very first match of our draft cycle here, chat. Mark Henry in a very dominant performance. So, here's what we're gonna do now that we have... Oh, geez, Seamus. So here's what we're gonna do now, chat. Someone from SmackDown is going to Raw. Who it will be is going to be decided by a roll of the dice. Okay? Wait, the rankings changed. Who fell down? Oh no, Matt freaking Hardy fell down. Hold on. I'm gonna count how many people are on SmackDown, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 30 wrestlers are on SmackDown. So, with that, I'm going to roll a D30, and we're going to see who leaves. D30 roller. Hold on just a second. 27. 27 got rolled. So, let's see here. 30, 29, 28. Shelton Benjamin is going to Raw. Congratulations, Shelton Benjamin. You are now on the A Show. Oh, and chat, I just got word from the very not anonymous Raw general manager, aka me. Our next match is going to feature Raw's newest signing. It's going to feature Raw's newest signing, Shelton Benjamin, in a match against, I don't know who yet. I'm going to figure that out. Against, let's see here. I'm going to go ahead, put him up against the not yet American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Do supernatural characters like Undertaker or Kane need permission to go to either brand of WWE? I mean, like, listen, I'm the one that signs the paychecks around here. And if they want to continue to stay in this business, then they're gonna need to. Then they're gonna need to follow by my rules. All right. That's how it works around here. So yeah, the second draft match, it is Shelton Benjamin taking on Cody Rhodes. Shelton Benjamin versus Cody Rhodes here tonight. Stop me now! This is like fired Shelton Benjamin era, I think, because he doesn't have like the little ribbon Titantron there. He just has the shows.
148 pounds, the gold standard, Shelton Benjamin.
AEW legend Shelton Benjamin. Dude, you're right. Dude, we went from ECW legends to like AEW legends here in like the span of a single match. Holy shit. In another timeline, this shit would be happening on Dynamite right now. In another timeline, this would be happening on AEW right now. You're honest, will give me yours.
And his opponent from Mario.
Do supernatural characters like Undertaker even need to follow your authority? I mean, I assume they need money still, right? Like, if they're supernatural, what are they gonna do? Are they gonna walk into like 7-Eleven and they're gonna like spook this? They're gonna spook like the cashier into giving them like a free Slurpee? Is that how it works? I mean, I did play Spider-Man 2, and I remember Mysterio trying to fucking do that. And the cashier was like, yeah, sure, man, just, don't disintegrate me or whatever. So, like, if that's how it works, then maybe they don't need money. They just need the spookums.
This is it.
But you know what? Until that's proven, I'm just gonna say that they need money, alright? And if they want money and they don't want to go to stinking TNA, then they're gonna have to wrestle on this show. Alright? This match would probably go hard today, honestly. Hold on. Dream Battle. Right there. Maybe if you had Undertaker's urn in your position, then maybe they'd bend more to your authority.
As we get started, what has to be going?
Well, no, I mean, like, dude, at that point, it's not even, like, do they have to bend to my authority? Do they have to, like, bend to the authority of societal norms of needing to spend money for goods? You know? At that point, my authority doesn't fucking matter because I'm not the one that makes the rule of, hey, if you go to 7-Eleven and you spook the gas station attendant and they still don't give you a Slurpee, you still need to buy the Slurpee, you know?
The kick connects.
Unless it's like 2 a.m. and they just can't be bothered when they see you stealing it. which honestly might be a viable option. They have to bend to the authority of Triple H. There's always Plan B. Give me the cherry slushy. I don't want that blue raspberry shit. I'll throw that shit right in the garbage can. Along with CM Punk's resignation papers. Speaking of CM Punk, you have him to look forward to in tonight's Raw main event. Ladies and gentlemen. It will be CM Punk taking on someone. I have yet to figure. Jesus Christ. Shelton Benjamin with ginormous suplexes and kicks to the face of the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. I hope someone punks CM out. Dude, same. Fire Triple H has been trending after the Pat McAfee reveal last night. Here's the thing, right? You can have a hashtag trending all you want, but the question is, are you still going to watch WrestleMania? Because if you're still gonna watch WrestleMania, then fuck your hashtag.
It's almost
shit.
time for a 2.5-minute Cheetos
nothing.
break, my dudes.
Like, shut up and get on our level. I don't watch the product, so no. I don't watch the product either. I only watch, like, clips of it. Okay, but do you watch my product right here? Do you watch this WWE product? I mean, you're here right now, so I have to assume the answer is yes. But I just want to hear it from your mouth, Tom Street. Yes, I'm watching this product, LOL. Awesome. Thank you.
Hello, Mario.
Stev, Ashley, how are you doing tonight? Welcome on in to tonight's long but jeez, T-Bone suplex on the outside from Shelton Benjamin. Raw might have another draft pick here. Raw might have another draft pick right here if Cody Rhodes doesn't get it together.
These athletes seem to have tried everything in their play.
It's been a much more physically impressive contest here than the last one, I'll be perfectly honest with you. Yeah, like, Cody can't be walking like that. He has to stay on the gas if he wants a shot against Benjamin here. But no, like, the real question is if you're like spamming that hashtag and you still plan on watching WrestleMania, then shut the fuck up. Okay?
In his back now, it's gonna be screaming in pain.
Because as like terminally online as Triple H is, what ultimately moves the needle is, you know, is the dollar. So like if you hate what Triple H is like, you know, I'm doing with the booking, and your main response is, "Oh, I'm still gonna watch WrestleMania,"
He's looking at it again. Jumping, complete shot.
then, well, I don't know what to tell you. What, Ted DiBiase? Holy shit! Oh my god! Oh my god! No! No, the referee, dude, the referee is being distracted by Ted DiBiase. He's here for court. He figured, dude, he found the time to come and help Shelton Benjamin. Holy shit! And now he's over here giving the referee tips on how to fucking defraud people of their money. But Cody Rhodes still isn't kicking out, dude. Help Shelton. Shelton Benjamin, yes, he's here to help Shelton. And now Ted's being thrown out. 1, 2. What a fucking J-Brone. Holy shit. You fucking go to TNA, Cody. That shit didn't matter at all. Rev said fuck defrauding. He fucking said, I'm a man of the law. I'm a man of the law, Ted. You will not corrupt my mind. It didn't matter. It didn't matter at all. So wait, hold on. Hold on, will they show the Ted interference? Will they show the Ted interference? Oh no, they won't. Oh, but that was sick as fuck. That was sick as hell. And now he's returning to court.
Here is your winner, the gold standard.
Where he will hopefully not be found not guilty because defrauding kids is fucking shit. I'm sorry. Yeah, you know what? Fuck that.
I don't know how much trust there is in the ring.
You know what? Based, dude, based Cody Rhodes for that. It'll show the ref talking to no one. He was sitting there talking to like his imaginary friend about if he's gonna like go through with defrauding the audience there tonight. Wow. He's over there talking with his imaginary friend about tax
It's almost
evasion.
time for a 2.5-minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
All right, chat. We're gonna take a quick commercial break, and then when we come back, we're gonna draft the second man or woman to go to Raw, and then we're gonna do our main event. But in between that time, I'm gonna ready up something absolutely
It's break
adorable
time.
for all of you.
Where the heck's the Cheetos, my dudes?
Raw rolls on after this. I'm very excited to show you this, chat. Oh no, but not that. I'll be back in a second. While the grapples aren't as good in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, the game certainly comes out swinging, so to say. Henry's long-awaited second adventure begins with him and Lord Capon being sent to the gallows, after getting into a fight with a couple of nasty ruffians. While there, Capon lets loose on Henry. Not even his dog is safe from the irate Lord's tongue lashing. It's ridiculous. Capon is one of the game's few love interests, and if you've watched our show long enough, you know I had to go with him. We can't show the sloppy wet kiss they share, but you know how much we love upsetting parents out there. We assure you, it's an incredible sight. Anyway, no amount of pearl clutching can taint the game's uniqueness. It sacrifices a lot for the sake of immersion, including an intuitive combat system. Slow, clunky sword fighting that seems to give you the short end of the stick more often than not. The controls are very night-feeling and responsive, and the world reacts not just to your actions in combat, but in conversations too. There's a lot of talking in the game, and the writing is good. We had a lot of fun trying to impress some wenches with a well-timed poop joke. Everyone knows feces are funny, and in that area, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, well, delivers. I have the cuteness readied up, chat, but I'm going to show it to you after tonight's festivities, because I don't want to take too much attention away from this.
Om nom nom. Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Welcome back to Raw, everyone. Alright, so now... SmackDown has 29 guys. Here's what we're gonna do. If we roll one of the champions on the brand, then we're gonna re-roll. Okay? Because in this game, you can't like trade the champions and their belts, right? Because this game doesn't allow you to like change, you know, the belts on which brand, or you know, like which brand has what belts. So I'm gonna roll a d29. We're gonna see what it lands. This is a great universe mode created by Kane! Okay, but is Kane going to be drafted? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Whoa! Holy shit! Okay, cool. Well, joining Monday Night Raw is none other than Raymond Mysterio. I genuinely thought that he was going to stay on SmackDown throughout this, but no! Rey Mysterio is going to Raw. Whoa, my knee. Dude, his knee's gonna be so fucked going to Raw. Vance, it rhymes with Lance. It also rhymes with Chance, which he has none. Off to the win, he has gone. Dude, holy shit, okay. Well, alright, Rey Mysterio is number 5 in the chase for the fucking WWE title. Now, what? Wow, that right there's an awesome fucking number 1 contenders match. Okay, but in our final match of the evening, it's going to be a tables match between CM Punk and the custom superstar, The Controller. Did I know that DX had their own pay-per-view named after them? Yes, I did, in fact, know that. World Wrestling Entertainment presents CM Punk versus The Controller in a tables match. Again, a draft pick is on the line here in this matchup. Let's go to it right now. Really hoping that I didn't select a character to play as, because if so, that's gonna make this really, really strange. Loaded theme here, by the way.
Following contest is a tables match.
Even though everyone's booing over it.
Is to place your opponent through a table. Approaching the ring from Chicago, Illinois, weighing 222 pounds,
CM Punk hardcore. He's gonna have to get hardcore if he wants to win this match here tonight. Oh yeah, also chat, this fucking bout is for the vacant ECW championship. I should have mentioned that as well. This bout is not only for a draft pick, but it is also for the vacant ECW Silver Eagle Championship. Hold on. Is it an eagle? Or is it...
And his opponent...
Or is it like a phoenix? Because I'm not so sure. And here he comes. The man that ended The Undertaker's streak just one night before. It is The Controller making his way down to the ring here. A devastating force to be reckoned with already here in WWE. But will he be able to win his first title off the back of a massive win against the Phenom last night? Little Jimmy has been manipulating Ted Jr. the whole time. Dude, I knew he had it in him, okay? But like, listen, we can't just blame little Jimmy for everything. At some point, you have to take responsibility for your actions. And Ted Jr. is an adult, and he needs to fucking take that responsibility. Alright, main event time. It is CM Punk versus the Controller. Okay, hold on. With an incredible bulldog by CM Punk from the corner there. CM Punk is off to a pretty decent start in this match in the Tree of Woe for the Controller. The Controller with enough speed to get out of it and swats CM Punk out of the air. Right, does the Controller have him where he's got him? Into the DDT. Into the DDT by the Controller. Oh, that was very short-lived offense there by the Controller.
The victor is the first superstar that can physically drive his opponent through the table.
Right on back to the Bulldog there by CM Punk.
What a fierce kick.
You know, he might be going for that a little bit too, like, early into this match. Or at least, like, he may be going back to it a few too many times. Like, this fucking early into the match. And now the Controller back on the offensive with a big flying shoulder tackle. Big punch to the floor. A big spinning leg drop. Oh.
The elbow connect.
I didn't quite make his mark there, and CM Punk is back. And CM Punk has him on the back foot yet again. Big old DDT of his own. Big knee drop. Don't call it a comeback.
Think about how important this main event is in building momentum.
Listen, dude, I'm fucking hoping that the Controller wins this. I want him to be ECW champion. Oh, big top rope avalanche arm drag. And what's this that CM Punk's got here? Oh, nothing. Absolutely nothing. I thought he was going to go for a springboard, but he didn't seem to want that. And now the spinning leg drop again from the Controller. It's been a very back and forth main event here so far, but not one single table has been employed just yet. But you gotta think it's only a matter of time before that changes. Oh. Taking a minute there to get a good stretch break in for the Controller. This universe mode is as primitive as it gets, and somehow it's still the best universe mode in the whole franchise. I wouldn't say that. I think that 12, 13, and 14 are probably better.
Anything they want to each other. Wow. He was quick.
But this right here is definitely pretty primitive.
Punk from behind.
But it still feels like that there's, you know, quite a bit that can happen.
Hello, Mario.
Look in my ass. What do you see?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you just tuned in, this is our main event of the evening. They lock up.
A bit of piss and some poopy. Hi there, Patootie. How you doing tonight? We're here in tonight's Raw main event. A big back and forth contest here between the Controller and CM Punk.
The WWE Universe has to be on the edge.
In a big old tables match here, where no tables have been employed so far. In fact, I don't even think they've left the ring once yet, if I'm being honest with you. I don't think either of these men have freaking left the ring yet.
He's in big trouble.
Right, here we go. Top rope CM Punk with a big body splash. With a big old cross body. Onto the Controller. Finally, we're bringing some tables in this matchup. But this is definitely a match that really doesn't favor one person over the other. Yeah, sure, like Damage Damage means something, but like one small mistake can really just end the match right there. Oh, okay. I mean, like this game does have like pretty good weapons physics though, so I'm looking forward to that.
Punk with the arm.
All right, CM Punk back on the offensive here as he starts putting the boots to the controller. But no, chat, I started tonight's stream by saying that I'm the guy that enjoys 2.5 showers a day. And I need to like ask you guys something. And like I'm not here to try and shame anyone, but I want you to be honest with me. Do you take showers every day? And if so, how many do you take? Because like I'm the kind of guy that like enjoys like taking a shower when I wake up. I enjoy taking a shower when I come home from work because, you know, when I come home from work I'm sweaty. And if I'm feeling like, you know, I'm particularly gross by the end of the day, I'll just take a small one to, you know, blow off. I take them every other day, but not daily. See, like I don't understand that. I don't understand people who like don't take daily showers, you know?
What do you think he's gonna do with that?
Because personally, if I don't shower, then I feel it on my skin, you know? I feel like the grime of the day on my skin and I can't function properly, you know? I normally don't if I'm not going anywhere. Well, like, even if I'm not going anywhere, I'll still take a shower, you know? Because, like, it helps me wake up, it helps me feel better in my own skin. And also, I live with roommates, and I don't want them, you know, feeling my stink. Wait, hold on, okay. Okay, Raw was about to get a draft pick, and the controller was about to be the ECW champion. But that might be ending right here as CM Punk breaks the table! SmackDown gets a draft pick, and we have a new ECW champion in CM Punk. What a back and forth contest this was here, but CM Punk coming out on top in the end. Mainly clothes and energy. I need break days or it'd get on my nerves.
Wow, he just never got out of the starting gate.
I guess I just can't really relate to that because like I have enough clothes to make it through multiple weeks if I shower every day, you know? Heck, I would shave my head for the straight edge society. Are you saying that you would join a cult, Idea Maker? Does ECW stand for Extremely Corny Wrestling Champion? Then he deserves it. You know what? I can fucking agree with that, dude. That's on dicks. So, first off, we're going to crown our new ECW champion, CM Punk. You know what? That belt's gonna look real good on him. So good that he's gonna start the next episode of Superstars. And we're gonna see just how good he looks with it. Hold on. Alright. Now, SmackDown has won a draft pick. But who will go? Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 30, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44. 44 wrestlers on Raw. Dude, I thought that was never ending. 44. Don't worry, I will address the Druid here in a second. I've noticed him too. But who will go to SmackDown? Number 13. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Gold? Dude, wait, hold on. No. That was actually Gail Kim. Gail Kim is going to SmackDown, ladies and gentlemen. One of the best women's wrestlers of the era is SmackDown bound. And not only is she SmackDown bound, but so is the Druid. I don't know what division. I don't know what division that he's gonna be in. But he's gonna be in a division. I know that much for sure. Hold on. Let's see where the Druids stay. Dude, the Druid is not even on here. The Druid is not even on here. What? He has no rankings. Can you believe it? Can we headcanon him to be Dean Ambrose and Rose? Yeah, sure. He can be Jon Moxley. I can fuck with that. All right, next show. Oh my. Oh my. Okay, chat. I almost want to keep the main event here, but I know that since it's a tag team match and that it's Yuke's AI, this shit is gonna take like centuries to finish. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna stick to the one-on-one matches here. Finally, the real show of the week. I know! Finally, we have Peak. At last, we have Peak. Alright, one-on-one match here. Hardcore of Death Stable. I love that. We're gonna have the new ECW champion, CM Punk. Wait, title match? Oh my. ECW championship on the line in this matchup. With Luke Gallows coming out here with him. And he will face... Chad, who's he facing? I think he needs to face... Santino Marella? I think so. Either that or R-Truth. One of the two, I think. Oh my. Actually, hold on. I have a better idea. I've got a better idea, chat. Oh, wait. Wait. No. You're right. It's gotta be Yoshitatsu. It does need to be Yoshitatsu. Here on Superstars for the ECW Championship, it's two ECW legends, CM Punk taking on Yoshitatsu. Here to start our festivities off. All right, here we go. I'm honestly really excited for this one. I'm not even gonna lie to you, chat. This shit is gonna pop the fuck off. I did in fact give CM Punk custom attire for this one, though. I made a few custom attires, and this was one of them. Hope everyone in the Long Boy Club has a blessed and joyful Easter tomorrow. I'll be honest, dude, I forgot tomorrow was Easter. I totally forgot it was Easter tomorrow.
The following contest is for the ECW Championship.
Every Thursday night on WGN America at 8 Central. Check your local listings. You got it, brother.
Illinois, weighing 222 pounds, he is the ECW Champion.
You fucking bet he is.
And Punk.
There he is, dude. With his cool ass title belt. Yeah, baby. Ha ha ha. ECW title and a draft pick on the line here in this matchup. Jesus Punk. More like Charles Manson Punk. I'm pretty sure he was more going for like Charles Manson.
20 pounds, Yoshitatsu.
There he is. This right here is my favorite All Japan main event. This is very crazy gear, by the way, because like the Japanese flag is like a whiter shade of white than the rest of the gear. It's very straight. Chavo Guerrero in the front row, no less.
And in the front row, no less.
Michael, I just said that. What are you talking about?
Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us. It should be a great night here. You said it, Mike.
All right, Pokemon Stadium 2. Dude, does Chavo Guerrero want a shot at the ECW Championship?
ECW Championship.
Holy shit. Well, okay. I mean, like, I guess if Yoshitatsu wins this matchup, then he'll fucking put the belt on the line tomorrow night on SmackDown against Chavo Guerrero. We got, and to just hammer the point home about how Superstars is the A show. We got 3 title matches on this show, y'all. We're gonna be crowning some brand new champions on this night after this match right here as CM Punk defends the ECW title. And Yoshitatsu and CM Punk start by putting the boots to each other and the knees. This one here really is, it might turn into a battle of the strikes, y'all. Both Yoshitatsu and CM Punk are known strikers.
To claim that he is the world's role model. He says that he can lead you to the promised land too.
So like in this match, it's mostly about being more durable than your opponent, more than anything else. In the front row, no less. Man's got his neck broken by AJ Styles and hasn't been the same. Wait, really? I mean, I know Yoshitatsu does stuff these days. But like, where is he? Is he in like DDT? Is he in Noah? What is Yoshitatsu up to these days? He's fine. He's just a manager in Noah for Team 2000X. Dude's killing it. Well, that's good. So like, is he like retired from wrestling? And he's just a manager now? I mean, hopefully he wasn't retired by Styles because that was suck ass. I'd assume so. Someone check his cage match real fast because I need to know. I gotta know what he's doing now. I gotta know if he can still work.
The championship hangs in the balance.
Hello, Mario.
But no, I'm glad Wikipedia says he's still wrestling. Okay. Also, hello there, RVD RKO.
He's pretty much full of himself right now.
March 16th, 2026 was his last match. Who'd he face? He lost to a guy named Jomar. I've never heard of a Jomar in my life. What? That Sonic is stuck in my head? Oh, that song is stuck in my head. Okay. I literally thought it was like that Sonic is stuck in my head. I mean, that's very true for me. Sonic's always in my head. And CM Punk retains the title and gains SmackDown. Another draft pick. Looks like Chavo's not getting that shot at the ECW Championship tomorrow night. But he just might get it next week on SmackDown. After the draft is over. So unfortunately, Chavo's going to need to wait just a little longer to get a shot at the belt. But it's coming. It's coming for old Chavo here soon. God damn it. Yeah. Sag. But Yoshi gave him a good fight though. Like, I do not discount his efforts. He fucking went for that. He fought like he wanted the belt.
There should be no doubt in anyone's mind that he is the true and deserving champion. Absolutely. What an incredible match.
All right, so our next match will be for another championship, chat. And already we're closing up shop on Superstars if you saw that. We're getting ahead of the curve. We're fucking getting ahead of the curve here. All right. Our next match will be for it'll be for one of two belts, right? It'll be for the WCW World Championship or the Hardcore Championship. One of the two. But before we figure that out, we need to figure out who's going to SmackDown. Last time we rolled, it was 44 wrestlers. Now it is 43. So we'll need to roll for a D43. Hold on just a second. All right, D43. Let's see. Number 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, did I skip some guys? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, wait, no, I'm counting SmackDown guys. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Dude, SmackDown's getting all the women here. Eve Torres is going to SmackDown. The SmackDown women's roster is filling up a little bit here tonight, y'all. Because now we got Gail Kim and Eve Torres on Friday nights. Now, let's fucking do another custom match here. But for what belt? I think we need to do it for... You know what? For the fucking tax evasion championship. It'll be Ted Jr. versus someone else. Versus someone from SmackDown. And I think there's no better challenger. Holy cow, Yoshitatsu is 49. Does he look 49? Because, like... because, like, I've not really seen his face recently. Wait, hold on. No. We need RVD. Whoa. Going up against Ted Jr. Title match, $1 million championship is going to be on the line in this match. Unfortunately, the picture on Wikipedia is him from 2016. If you go on Wrestle Universe and you search for him, you'll find a more updated portrait. I don't know why they wouldn't just give him that, but whatever. Anyways, RVD versus Ted Jr. for the $1 Million Championship here on Superstars. Again, three title matches and a draft pick on the line. This right here is why you watch Superstars. It's because he's in Noah, like, under a hood. Is he? I thought he was just, like, face painted.
Is scheduled for one fall. Introducing the challenger.
He's hooded up like the Controller.
Weighing 235 pounds, Rob Van Dam.
All right, RVD taking on Ted Jr. here for the $1 Million Championship. Whoa, dude, what can I do with $1 million? You know how much shit I can get with $1 million? I can get at least, like, 2 baggies with that. Oh, man, no. No, they didn't record Rob Van Dam from the crowd. Okay, no. Dude, the Superstars crowd is asleep for this match. I should have booked something else. Huh? Hold on. No, really? Oh no, I know what's going to happen.
I'm ready for this. Wait a second.
Ted Jr. gained the upper hand.
Sneaky attack.
Getting the sneak attack on Rob Van Dam before the match even starts.
Blow the roof off the house.
What a shit-eating champion. Oh no.
Ouch. Rob Van Dam has the headlock.
And he has his finisher, the court ruling, ready to go. He's back from the courtroom. I love how every time he like enters the arena, it can only be through run-ins.
When he lands that one right to the head.
RVD is so overlooked in this game.
Say, King, that he's not at 100% after that.
I don't know about that. I mean, like
Yeah, I think that's safe.
he had like a small part to play in in Rey Mysterio's Road to WrestleMania and Chris Jericho's. He hit him with the subpoena. with the fucking court order.
Still have that colossal main event to come. It's going to be an incredible main event featuring 2 outstanding teams. It should be great.
Yeah, about 2 outstanding teams that will be in a battle royal because we're not going to watch a tag team match. He hit him with the subpoena is fucking fantastic.
What an elbow. Ted DiBiase into the headlock.
Meta Ridley.
Oh, it doesn't get more punishing than that.
Rob Van Dam is currently taking it to Ted Jr. right here.
These matches on WWE Superstars are extremely important in building momentum. Well, every win's important, but you're right. You sure don't want to head into Raw or SmackDown with a loss on Thursday night.
Well, listen, the momentum doesn't matter as much. And the momentum doesn't matter as much as a title, which is what Ted Jr. has. Like he's the one with the gold, and he's the one with $1 million of kush, dude.
Remember, in championship.
Well, at least we know Ted has bail money. No. Like in my mind, the court
It's
case
almost
is
time
going
for a
on
2.5
right now,
minute
but he just
cheaters
keeps
break,
running
my
out
dudes.
to like fucking do these run-ins. But he keeps running out just so he can like run in on the baby faces on SmackDown, or formerly on SmackDown, because some of them are on Raw as well. You know, Rob Van Dam is taking it to Ted Jr. He's sending him right back to his prison cell. Oilers game is on now. I think BRB gonna throw that on TV. Okay. Can anyone tell me how my beloved Mariners are doing? I'm pretty sure they have a game right now. Hold on. I'm gonna check.
Superplex. They must have gone 10 feet across the ring.
Seattle Mariners schedule. It's currently 0-1 against the Angels. at the start of the third inning. Okay, well, okay, Mariners got the Angels yesterday.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning
And
in.
now they're going up against the fucking Angels a second time.
Hey, what do you expect DiBiase to do at this point? I'm not sure there's anything he can do. They were very
Listen, I know I said I'm a fair weather fan, but like the Seattle Mariners are the only one that I want to stick with. Everyone else can go fuck themselves. Until they lose their next game. Like I was about to fucking ditch the Mariners after I saw that they lost to the Yankees twice. But I'm trying to have more discipline than that. I'm trying to have a bit more discipline than that. RVD is taking the boots to fucking Ted Jr. here.
again, the championship title at stake in this contest. Oh,
That run-in hasn't really done too much to phase Rob Van Dam as he's continued to like keep the pressure up on Ted Jr. And he'll need to if he wants to walk away with the frickin' title here tonight.
That one rocked him. An aggressive shot to the midsection.
Alright, hold on, let's see. Oh, nice Hurricane Rana there from Rob Van Dam. Alright.
Van Dam likes. He's going.
Alright, he's gonna try to get the pin off. He can't quite do it. Hold on.
Whoa, what a counter.
But he's got Ted Jr. on the ropes.
Van Dam
Now all he has to do is get up to the top rope and hit that 5-star frog splash, and we got a new champion. Oh, hello! Wow!
totally out.
What offense there from Rob Van Dam?
RVD.
Who'd you say the Mariners were playing against? The Los Angeles Angels. Oh, okay. 5-star frog splash! And he got it! He got it! New champ! New champ! 1, 2! New champion!
Van is our new champion.
So it's me versus you in baseball? LOL. Are you an Angels fan? Brother? Are you an Angels fan? Because if you are, that's fine. But
Nothing beats
listen,
a
you and I,
refreshing sip of water.
we need to have a long conversation about what a good team looks like. We need to have a conversation about a team that's not in a rebuilding phase. It doesn't like play their games in the equivalent of the WrestleMania 9 car park lot. Unless that phase is over, in which case I take that back. It's funny though, I have a figure of Randy Johnson on my desk in a Mariners uni when Tim Salmon in an Angels uni beside him. Wait. I'm sorry, but you just took his belt from him, Rob. You're not gonna get a handshake off of that bullshit. Cool. I mean, yeah. But, to be fair, Ted, you did run in on him, okay? Ted can't defraud anyone with the belt now. Fuck.
It's almost time for a 2.5-minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
You know, up until recently, I only knew Randy Johnson from his interpretation in, like, the backyard sports games. So to see him, not just as an adult, but with a full-on dad stash, was very disarming for me. Like, I didn't expect him to, 1, have that stash,
It's break time.
and 2,
Where the
be
heck's
that
the Cheetos,
large.
my dudes?
Raw rolls on after this. Because, like, he's a burly motherfucker, I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. Dude, it's mine again?
While the grapples aren't as good in Kingdom
Alright,
Come
I'm gonna
Deliverance
figure out our
2,
next draft
the
pick.
game certainly comes out
I'll
swinging.
be doing this while
so
the
to say.
fucking ad is going.
Henry's long-awaited second adventure begins with him and Lord Capon being sent to the gallows, after getting into a fight with a couple of nasty ruffians.
7,
While there,
8,
Capon
9,
lets
10,
loose on Henry.
11,
Not even his dog is safe from the irate Lord's tongue lashing.
12,
It's ridiculous.
13,
Capon is one of the game's few love interests, and if you've watched our show long enough,
14,
you know I had to go with
15,
him.
16,
We can't show the sloppy wet kiss they share, but you know how much we love upsetting parents out there. We assure you, it's an incredible sight. Anyway, no amount of pearl clutching can taint the game's uniqueness. It sacrifices a lot for the sake of immersion, including an intuitive combat system. Slow, clunky sword fighting that seems to give you the short end of the stick more often than not. The controls are very night-feeling and responsive, and the world reacts not just to your actions in combat, but in conversations too. There's a lot of talking in the game, and the writing is good. We had a lot of fun trying to impress some wenches with a well-timed poop joke. Everyone knows feces are funny, and in that area, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, well,
24,
delivers.
25, 26, 27, 28. Wow! Dude, SmackDown got an incredible draft pick. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. Whatever happened to Evan Bourne? Well, he's Matt Sydal in AEW right now. That's what happened to him. I don't really know what he's doing at the moment, though. I want to say he's injured, but I frankly don't know. I don't know if he's injured or not, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. Because we haven't seen him on, you know, Dynamite or Collision in quite a bit. It's been a minute since we've seen him.
Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Hey, welcome back to Raw. Speaking of Raw, that's where Sheamus no longer is.
Hello, Mario.
I'm here to show the world, come on, bring it on. Now, Sheamus is going to SmackDown. The Great White, as they call him. Yes, absolutely. The Great White is going to SmackDown. We'll have to find all new fucking ops over there because his like enemy hit list was absolutely full. Now, Battle Royal in the main event. Let's see, who all do we want to have on here? I think Santino needs another shot. I think we need Kofi in there. Batista. And... You know what? Terry Funk. This is an insane lineup. What? Also, this match is for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship.
Oh,
WrestleMania. Yes, in fact. Hi, Dark Raven. How are you? Also, hi, Ray J. Welcome on in. Did he keep his high-flying style? Yes, Matt Sydal did keep his high-flying style.
The following contest is
Although it's a bit more technical now, too. Because he's starting to get older, so.
Introducing first.
In fact, could someone look up Matt Sydal's cage match and tell me when his last match was?
Santino Marella.
Because just because I haven't seen him over in AEW doesn't mean that he's not doing shit. For all I know, he might be down in Dragon Gate again. I don't know. All right. Main event time. It's a 4-man battle royal with a draft pick spot on the line. With the first entrant being Santino Marella. I was playing Black Ops 7 since I got it on sale. Nice. Hopefully you're having fun with it. I haven't played a Call of Duty game since I was a teenager. It's just not the kind of game I play. But I hope you're having fun with it.
And his opponent from Ghana, West Africa.
Didn't he used to be Jamaican?
21 pounds, Kofi Kofi Kingston.
Here we go. The heart and soul of this matchup right here, it is Kofi
Hello,
Kingston.
Mario.
His last match was on December 7th at an indie show. Okay. Okay. Well then, I guess he's not injured then. He's just not being used really. I mean, to be fair, I have him on my TNA roster and I haven't really been using him too much either.
Their opponent from Washington, D.C., weighing 290 pounds, Batista.
I loved how the lights went out here for Batista's entrance. And he just like denied the fans of their like machine gun pop. The boos are so loud they're drowning out Batista's music. Batista's really phoning it in here. I know, dude. He's like no nonsense here. Default character walk. Ah, here we go, brother.
And their opponent from the Double Cross Ranch, Amarillo, Texas, weighing in at 247 pounds, Terry Funk.
I'm here to win the WCW World Heavyweight Championship, and I'm gonna win it now. Wasn't this his last game? Ooh, Batista's? No, he actually showed up as DLC in the next one. No way Terry looked that ripped. No, no way. Terry Funk never looked this good. Terry Funk never looked this good at any point in his career. I mean, it's a little hard to tell because most of the time he wore a shirt. Especially, like, you know, when wrestling, like, you know, when wrestling was, you know, experiencing its boom periods. That's around the time that he was wearing a shirt for every match. But no, they're really glazing Terry crazy style here in this match. Which is fine because Terry Funk deserves to be glazed. But still, this is some major glazing here. Anyways, a 4-man battle royal here to end off Thursday Night Superstars. Again, the WCW World Heavyweight Championship is on the line in this matchup. This is the final of our 3 title matches here tonight. Who will walk away with it?
Oh, watch out here. Kofi has the headlock.
I'm not gonna lie, Chad, I kind of want Santino to win it just because I think it'd be funny. I miss old wrestling games. Now
we found
now
a
we got
WCW belt out of the trash
dude, I bet y'all
we
wish
still
you
don't
bought
know what a
fucking Fight Forever now,
WCW
huh?
is.
I'm kidding. No. I'm gonna give you a moonsault, Santino. I'm gonna give you a moonsault, Santino, and then I'll send you over the top rope. Watch me. I'm glad I backtracked on 2K26, lol. Whoa! Whoa! Well, Terry Funk's already out! Oh no, this is bullshit. I guess I'm not winning the WCW title here tonight. But again, not only is the WCW World Heavyweight Championship on the line, I was about to say, even Fight Forever had a season pass. Yeah, but that was like, you know, at least it didn't cost like hundreds of dollars to get like all the characters. I mean, especially these days, it's all there for like one flat fee, and then you're done. Oh no, dude, Santino's already out, and Kofi might have this one in the bag here if Batista doesn't shape up. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Batista's back in action here, but Kofi had it scouted. And there with the standing drop kick, Okada style.
This match is being televised.
Lay off the protein shakes, Batista. I found out in another server that the quickest way to go through the battle pass, since they pass you squashing Bischoff, is to go through My Rise.
And the boot connects.
I mean, at least that's like,
Kofi just took. Man, that was a vicious elbow.
that's a much less cheese tactic than, you know, just spamming Bischoff. But like, what I don't really appreciate two things. One that they passed it out because they knew that people were fucking doing it. And two, that the devs got pissed off at the players for, you know, being like mad that they did that. Because I feel like that just really like misses the point and really just creates unneeded animosity between you and your players. Like, sorry, like I think one of the devs was like, you spamming this tactic disrespects, you know, like the time we put into the game. And I'm just like, well, you're disrespecting my time as a player for fucking making me grind this much, you know?
Competitors trying to keep their wits about them.
Yeah, they're like fucking, they're fucking throwing bombs at each other, Kofi and Batista. But Batista might have it won here. If he does, that's a draft pick for Raw and the WCW title. Hold on. And Batista wins the gold and the draft pick. Ew, people having fun. I mean, like, I wouldn't call repeatedly squashing Eric Bischoff fun. I would just call it a band-aid on a problem that 2K invented. You know? Give me what I want. With pleasure, Batista. You are now the WCW World Heavyweight Champion.
Here's your winner,
Congratulations.
Batista.
Congratulations, Batista. But no, I don't really think people were spamming, you know, like Eric Bischoff, you know, getting squashed for the fun of it. I think they were spamming it because they didn't want to spend 109 actual human days grinding out this battle pass that'll have the content relocked next year. You know? That's not what I want. Well, fuck you. You're getting it, brother. Here. Take the belt. You
Hello,
go ahead
Mario.
and you take the belt, dude. Just woke up. How's SmackDown vs. Raw 2011? It's pretty good so far. Gotta love that they didn't want people going through the past fast. I mean, like, I just wish they wouldn't do it to begin with. I remember when you played wrestling games and all you really needed to do to unlock everything was just play the game. You know? Like, sure, they had, you know, like, a few guys locked behind paywalls as, like, DLC. And they also had, you know, like, the unlock accelerator. But that was really it. I'm going to head out. Have a good night and a happy Easter. You too, Dan. Thank you very much. They dead ass want to be like other sports games. Oh, they do. Rob Van Dam and Ted DiBiase's relationship has gotten even worse. I mean, like, this seems pretty one-sided, I feel like, the hatred. Because Rob Van Dam...
Hello, Mario.
It raffles. Hello, Shoujo. How are you doing tonight? Welcome on in to tonight's Long Boy Club meeting. We have a lot of people here. Thank you all very much for hanging out with us. Also, the chat froze. Did it? Hold on. You froze, Zach. How about that? But no, how are you doing, Joe? Thank you for fucking dropping in tonight. That was the thing even before 2K, the yearly release date, remember? Oh, wait. Yeah. I mean, like, it was always structured like a yearly sports game. But, like, I mean, they're also just, like, you know, like, adopting a lot, like, of the scummy things that most sports games come with nowadays. Doing fine, just vibing. Well, we're currently doing our draft week here in SmackDown vs. Raw 2011. And Raw just won a draft pick, so let's see who's going to the red brand. Number 3, that would be... that would be Chavo Guerrero, brother! Chavo Guerrero is going to Monday Night Raw. I rolled number 3, and ooh, Chavo got drafted, which means, chat, he's going to be able to get his ECW title match after all. First things first on the night, it will be... Wait, 4-way steel cage? Wow, that sounds fucking crazy. Main event, Kofi and Chad? Hope your day's been lovely though, Stev. Oh, I'm sorry, Infinite. I just witnessed my only hobby die in front of my face the second I woke up, so I am not okay today. I hope your day's been lovely though, Stev. Well, what's the hobby, if you don't mind me asking? You know what? Fuck it. No. The main event is not Kofi and Shad. It is CM Punk and goddamn Chavo Guerrero for the ECW championship. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Let's have a absolute barn burner of a match here. It is, of course, John Cena versus John Cena. What? No, what? Are you kidding me? You can only have one John Cena? This is bullshit, man. Dude, you can only have one John Cena per capita? That's fucked up, dude. I'm unhappy now, dude. I made music mods for the Rethawed mod of Tony Hawk's American Wasteland, only for the ex-devs of the game said some stupid things online and basically killed the whole mod. I mean, you can still make stuff for it, though, right? Especially if the devs are no longer on it. Okay, no, never mind. I'm sad. I'm so sad I'm gonna pick Goldust instead. And it's gonna be him against Finlay. Peepo's sad. I'm sorry, bud. I realize that fucking stinks. Dude, the fact you can only have one John Cena per capita, this right here, chat, this is what we call discrimination. Okay? The C Nation must not be discriminated against in this way. Otherwise, I'm gonna have a big fucking shit poo-poo on stream. Otherwise, I'm gonna take a big shit on a Goldust suit. Dude, fun has never been more illegal. John Cena's not, in fact, a stealth bomber. You can only have one stealth bomber. And oh, come on! Goldust immediately with the blindsiding attack. Instead, Goldust is now the stealth bomber. It It turns out Goldust was the stealth bomber this entire time. Ah! I watched Dustin Rhodes versus Kip Sabian from a 2020 episode of AEW Dynamite. Dustin was like, if I lose, I'm retiring. And the match genuinely fucking stunk. Well, maybe he should have retired there. Fuck. Ow. Oh, man. Well, like, did it stink because of Dustin, or did it stink because of Kip? Kip Sabian is buns. No, he kind of is, isn't he?
What a great match we have here.
He kind of is buns, isn't he? That's kind of why they don't use him all that much. I'm gonna try to finish one of these music mods while I watch and see how I feel. I don't think that you should quit it, like, especially if the devs are no longer on the project. I don't think you should quit it.
That'll do some damage.
Especially if it brings you joy, you know? Goldust, we have sausage and midgets all waiting for us in the car. Let's go, bud. What the fuck? Hold on. When did he say this?
He catches him with the axe handle. Oh,
When the fuck did he say this?
squeezing down on the head.
No, I didn't want to pin that. Fuck.
Here on SmackDown.
No, unpin it right now. Thank you, Stev. Thank you a lot.
Collar and
It's
elbow.
alright, bud. But, like, are the devs no longer on the project, then? This Finley gear fucking rules. It does! It's so good.
Watch it. Oh, man. Did you hear that?
I've also always been a fan of, Goldust gear. I do kind of wish that the... I do kind of wish that the bodysuit was a little bit more shiny. But
Goldust. Control.
I think this is a good version of Goldust here.
Finley's in trouble.
Kip Sabian's buns is incredible.
Axe handle.
Aw. Yeah, he kind of is.
WWE fans watching this match all around the world. Oh, no, he's just...
He did used to have a Twitch stream, though. I don't know if he does now. But he did used to. And all he would play was Call of Duty Warzone.
It's the Russian leg
The
swing.
Insensitive Dev left, and a couple of others that were trying to play neutral left, too. One of them being my friend. Aww.
Does Finley have anything left?
So I'd imagine that creates some pretty mixed feelings for you, like some pretty like awkward feelings for you. I understand, man, but like if the problematic people are gone, then I don't know. I feel like you should continue to make something out of it.
Finley controlling the waist. Oh, mama! Finley with the arm.
Make it for the people that are still there, you know.
He's got him hooked.
Because it sounds like that it's a pretty like a dedicated group of people.
That's the headlock.
So if anything, I would stick with it.
I don't know what's gonna
Also, big fucking shots here from Finley and Goldust.
That hand had a lot of force behind it.
This has been incredible so far.
Right on the
Oh,
striking with the axe handle.
that neck is totally fucked, chat.
I'll tell you something about Goldust. He's always been an individual, and the fans love him for it.
What do you mean he's always been an individual?
Goldust gets
Let me tell you something about Goldust, guys. He's always lived life, breathed air, and he knew somehow he was gonna get there. And the fans love him for it. And he feels so wonderful. Crap, I gotta find the vid where Goldust said sausage and midgets, lol. I don't know, I don't like saying midgets, chat. I don't like it.
I'm not intimidated by many men.
Goldust, he was a breather. He could eat. What a guy. He in fact ate food. His favorite dish was chicken Thai curry with pink sake. He fucking couldn't get enough of it, dude. He put on a blonde wig. He put a blonde wig on Goldberg and got away with it.
Just playing my games. Uh-oh.
Unlike Finley, who is not an individual, Goldust eats food, drinks water, and goes to bed before sundown. And the fans love him for it. And that's why he's winning that match. And that's why he's winning this match.
Classic Goldust.
Goldust versus Finley. This is the A show. I can see why you would say that.
The final cut.
But it is Superstars, yes. The A show is in fact Superstars. Alright. And with that, Raw gets a draft pick. Raw gets another draft pick from SmackDown here. As Goldust and Finley beat the ever-loving shit out of each other here. Has it been all Raw picks? It's been the majority Raw picks. Maybe we need to start tipping the scales in SmackDown's favor. Even things out a little bit.
Could have gone either way. Nobody has anything to be ashamed of.
You know what? Fuck Goldust. He fucking jumped Finley before the match, and now he's calling that a win. Get out of here, man. Alright. Well, SmackDown Superstar number 9 is going to Raw. Let's see. Let's see who's going to Raw, chat. Coward Dust. Randy's Backlash. Randy's Backlash. Why Goldust? Why? Dude, what is this background? Okay, can we like discuss this background here real fast? Because it's always perplexed me as a kid, right? Because when I was a kid, I thought this was like some fucking dude's abandoned house, right? Or like they just went to like one of the devs' houses and they just like live in like destitute. You know? It's like an abandoned house or some shit. It feels like the background of a snuff film. Dude, this right here is like the Hong Kong 97 background. This right here looks like Hong Kong 97. Or like I walk into like my friend from high school's house and this is his living conditions. And I'm just sitting here like, damn bro, you live like this? I'm just like, damn dude, you fucking live like this? Like he's behind a fire. Dude, I cannot believe that game's getting the fucking sequel. What game? Living in Squalor. What game is getting a sequel? Like he's behind a firefight. Hong Kong 97. Oh yeah, that's right. Hong Kong 97 is getting a sequel. And my roommate won't shut the fuck up about it. He's like, you gotta play Hong Kong 97. And all I'm like is, do I? Because I really don't think I do. Because I don't know who it's for. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The Druid is going to Raw. Dude, I drafted the Druid to SmackDown. Will it be Hong Kong 27? Dude, they need to release it in 2027 and name it Hong Kong 27 for maximum funnies. If you play it on here, I'm 99% sure you'd be breaking TOS, LMFAO. I mean, like, dude, anytime you die, it shows the real dead body of a real dead person. So, like, all I'm thinking is, man, what do you mean that I need to play it? I don't think I do. Hong Kong 97 is not awesome. So,
Hello, Mario.
hi Sparkster, how are you doing? Anyways, our next match is going to be a real fucking shitstorm here. It is going to be Undertaker versus the shooter, the ring general, Ezekiel Jackson. But first, we're going to run an ad chat. Don't forget the dead body pile-up image in the intro cutscene, if I remember correctly. Is there a dead pile-up image?
Time. Where the heck's the Cheetos, my dudes?
You need to play it. I do not need to fucking play Hong Kong 97. Zach? Yeah, exactly. I'm booing that shit too. Unless people are booing me because I'm not playing Hong Kong 97.
Was interrupted one day when he discovers that strange aliens called the Woolies are stealing the Earth's yarn balls. Bubsy doesn't want to see his favorite play toy become extinct, so he embarks on a mission to collect as many yarn balls as possible.
All right.
The two Queen Woolies.
Yeah, I didn't like this stuff.
The graphics are great, as you can see here, making the journey to Stage 16 a sublime and enjoyable play experience.
Well, are you still playing this thing?
With the code STC.
But your roommate is right. Colin is not right. Listen, man. Colin might be my best friend in the whole world, but he is not right on this. I do not need to play Hong Kong 97 on stream. I don't need to get DOS Digital Oblivion by someone that made the game in 97, I think.
Bubsy will return for more hair
motherfucking demons from the planet Jupiter. Dude.
Bubsy 2.
Dude, how about this? If someone mods the game to make it the one AVGN joke,
even though Bubsy is easy, the game is still excellent.
If someone mods the game to really just make it like that one like AVGN joke where he's like making a spoof on on the intro to the game, I might play it. Okay. Like if anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, you probably do. Hold on just a second. Check this out, chat. Here it is.
Motherfucking demons from the planet Jupiter have arrived through the Manhattan portal. The leader of United States calls upon Master Joe, John Wayne's half-cousin's stepson, to annihilate the 2.5 octodecillion alien scum of the universe. However, on Jupiter's secret moon, a master plan is conceived to resurrect the astro-demonoid
Bill Clinton
into a mecha doomsday machine.
Like if that's the plot, I'll fucking play it.
Motherfucking demons from the planet.
Also, chat, I need to show you this. Look at these fucking Sonic OCs. Or rather, horse OCs, but they're based off of Sonic characters. Look at this. Look at Amy Rose. Look at how adorable she is.
Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Welcome back to Raw. Look at Sonic here. He fucking looks like Soren. but I love this interpretation of him. I love this interpretation of him. I love like the white patches on his hooves. This will go hard in 2014. Dude, it goes hard right now. It goes hard for me right now. Ow. Damn it. I enjoyed that they really just went full like edge mode with Shadow here. Because they made him an alicorn and they made him like into a changeling as well. So like, ow. So like they just went whole hog on making this guy like the most cringe ever. And I love that. I love that for him. Look at Tails!
Step on up and
ow.
throw a giant gold ring around a long boy's neck, ladies and gentlemen. Step on up. Come on. Let's go.
Ah, man, can't believe the crossover lead.
Dude. You owe me $10 either way.
Dude, if we get that fucking Sonic Comet crossover between Sonic and horses, because like, dude, at this point we've had DC and we've had Godzilla. Just fucking do it. Please. I want 14-year-old me to be happy. Okay? But look at Tails. Look at him. Look at his metal wings. Look at his little dimples here. Look at his two tails. I love it so much. I love him. He's so quirky. No. MLP comic rights are not owned by IDW anymore. But I mean, that hasn't stopped Sonic from collabing with Godzilla and DC. Like, they can do it. They just choose not to. And every day that they don't, I'm sad. But no, I enjoyed that they kind of took some like inspiration from Sonic Boom here as well, because they gave him like the goggles he had in Sonic Boom as well, along with a little hat. I love the shades on his hair. He's so cute. He has a little scarf. And look at Amy Rose. Look at Amy Rose. This is exactly what I would picture Amy Rose to look like as a horse. And not only that, she has her ring cuffs. And she has little, like, white patches on there like Sonic. And she also has her dress. That's very, very adorable. They have Care Bears in their Fall Guys-like game. Sonic, that is. No, they do have Care Bears in Sonic Fall Guys. That's very, very true. Just remember, Marvel collab with DC back in 2011. Anything can happen in comics. I need this to happen, okay? I absolutely... Chat, I'm gonna be honest. Horse Amy makes me melt. She's so adorable. I love her so much. Now it's Boom Studios. This right here's Knuckles. I think this is a very inspired take on him, frankly. And I love that they basically gave him the Big Mac body. It's great. You got Rouge here. Again, she looks incredible. Blaze as a Kieran. Yeah, he does kind of look like Takal. But, you know, then again, it's supposed to kind of look like, you know, the Echidnas. So there's that. But you have Blaze as a Kieran. And you have her as like a burning blaze sort of thing. That's so cool. And she's very pretty. And then you have Silver as a very tall... Actually, this is a little bit of a weird thing here because you have like a zebra here with a unicorn horn. So it's something a bit more outside the box. I like that. And I enjoyed they gave him like 4 cuffs on his character design here. It's so good. All these are so good, but no. I especially love the Amy one. It's very, very adorable. There is as much going on with it, you know, design-wise, but this is perfect. This is absolutely what I would want, like, Amy Rose to look like as a horse. So, yeah. Good job, the real JoJo Leafy. I salute you. Anyways. Amy 1 is my favorite. It should be everyone's favorite, honestly. Anyways. We have Undertaker and Ezekiel Jackson here, chat. Let's do it. Yeah, now it's Boom Studios. That's very true. Oh, this here is what you call domination, chat. The best pure strikers, it would be your Zachary Taylor.
From Harlem, New York.
Amy 1, my favorite. Come on, Sega, get the hit.
Ezekiel Jackson.
Wait, what did you type, Ashley? I'm sorry, I don't know what you're referring to there. The best pure strikers in the business, Ezekiel Jackson famously almost killed Christian Cage backstage during his road to WrestleMania, so Undertaker might have quite a bit to look out for here, but dude, Ezekiel Jackson walks the ring like he's the Undertaker. Like, dude, come on now. Let's step it up just a tiny bit. Pretty fucked up that this game has Ezekiel Jackson, but not Brian Kendrick. Also, someone added me in the server. What is this? Oh, Goldust. It's the Goldust clip that fucking Ray J's been talking about. Wait, no way. Ah! Oh, hot start! Hot start here for the Undertaker! Ah! Oh, you're stealing my entrance. You're stealing my entrance, kid. That's not awesome. No one steals my shit and gets away with it. Okay, cool. Undertaker asserting his dominance from the get-go. This one here is for Christian Cage. Yeah, Goldust actually says it. No, he does. Ah, old school from Undertaker. And this one might be over before it even begins. No way. The last ride! Here we go. Boom. That might be it, dude. If Taker... Oh, no. No, he's not done, chat. Undy's not done. Undertaker is not done yet with Ezekiel Jackson. He wants to make him pay for disgracing goddamn Christian Cage.
High impact, no mistakes. That's Undertaker's style.
Undertaker came in here looking like, I'm gonna fuck up this kid. Damn, overall 97 versus overall 50. I'll have you know that Ezekiel Jackson is overall 78 or 80 tail. And also, you're wrong about the Undertaker's overall. It's not 97. It's 98. So, like, he's even better than you give him credit for. Close enough, LOL. I'm not finished with you. Again, he's fucking doing this for Christian Cage. But no, not only do we have the ECW title main eventing, but we also... Wait, hold on. Dude, Ezekiel Jackson has gotten nothing in this match. It has been all Undertaker. The choke slam! Holy fucking shit! He is making sure there is nothing left on the table for anyone that goes after Ezekiel Jackson in the future.
Tombstone, Undertaker's...
Wow, okay, that's it, dude. 1, 2, SmackDown gets a draft pick. Ah! Ezekiel Jackson looking to keep himself strong there, dude. He's like, no, I'm kicking out at 3.1. Fuck you. Okay, I'll let you beat the shit out of me. I'll let you beat the shit out of me, Taker. But I'm kicking out at 3.1. I don't give a fuck. So he's so going to Wrestler's Court for that. Exactly. Like he just got the... Like, Zeke just got the tar bean out of him for shoots, and now he's about to go backstage and face Mean Mark's wrath. Okay, well, with that... No way. Wait! Jake Roberts! Dude, with the pipe? Holy shit! Okay, well, you know what? It's fucking good to know that, you know... Zeke has some friends backstage. Jake wants his revenge after 20 years, LOL. That's so true. Why is everyone shooting on each other? Dude, that right there's the Long Boy Club style. Alright? Some bunch of piss! Alright. We rolled 34 on the draft here. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. Whoa! Dude! An incredible pick for SmackDown. Chat, do you smell? 'Cause I do. The Rock is coming to SmackDown. The show named after him. Wow. An incredible pick for SmackDown here as The Rock. Undertaker, Ezekiel Jackson's relationship has gotten even worse. You smell? Chat, I smell, do you? And not only that, but man, suddenly SmackDown looks incredibly stacked. Now the question is, where does The Rock fit into... Dude, he's not even on... JTG is higher on the pecking order than The Rock! What? Dude, that's awesome. What? I love that. I love that for him, dude. I fucking love that for JTG. The landscape of WWE has changed forever. Looks like he's getting back in the ring regularly for the first time in a while. Zach, you'll remember this, right? But you and I went to like an indie show like a few years ago, and JTG was on the card. By the way, this right here is the same indie show that I was too chicken to go and say hi to James Storm at. But my JTG was on the card, and he is ripped. Like, he's incredibly ripped now, dude. It's actually insane how, like, crazy muscular he is now. But he was, like, really cool, too. Like, he fucking signed Zach's stuff, too. Like, Zach brought a strategy guide. Not just for any game, but for SmackDown vs. Raw 2008. And Zach had JTG sign it for him. Yep, I remember that took me aback a bit. I mean, JTG... Sorry, JTG seemed really fucking cool. So... yeah. I'm glad that we got to meet him, and I'm glad that he signed Zach's shit. Alright, chat. In our semi-main event here tonight, it is going to be a champion versus champion match. May Shad rest in peace. Absolutely, man. Alright. It is a champion versus champion match here in our semi-main event, as the WWE Champion, MVP, takes on the World Heavyweight Champion, the instant classic, Christian Cage. Him and Shad signed 3 autographs for me and my parents at a Carl's Jr. Wait, did they just do it? Like, did they not, like, fucking... Did they not, like, charge you anything? Were they just like, oh, hey, oh, hey, sure, I'll sign this for you, kid. You know, I found out Shad did, body work... Sorry for the, 2018 God of War. That's fucking awesome. That might honestly be his biggest claim to fame, if I'm being honest. They did it for free because we were the only ones there, if I remember correctly. Well, that's very fucking cool of them. That they would just, like, do that on a whim for, like, some randoms in a Carl's Jr. I don't know. I enjoy, like, little interactions like that. It reminds you that wrestlers are people, too. As long as you're nice to them, they don't mind you coming up. It's goddamn motherfucking the GOAT, Christian Cage, here tonight on SmackDown, as he goes one-on-one with the WWE Champion MVP. Wait, what? Hold on, no. First off, hello, Vance Archer. But second off, we gotta go back because that's wrong. My GOAT, my dog. Hold on, we need to fucking do this right. Lance Archer? That's goddamn Vance Archer to you, kid. Hold on. The SmackDown theme, that's right. Roll, I'm unstoppable. Let it roll, let it roll. Should have been a world champ in any company he's signed to. Do you think he should be AEW champion in modern day? I have immense nostalgia for Let It Roll. Yes, I do too. I have big nostalgia for Let It Roll, even though I wasn't really watching during this time period. Alright, chat, here we are. We got our fucking 2 hand-picked champions, basically, going at it here in the semi-main event. Can I spin it? No, I can't.
Approaching the ring, the WWE Champion, Montel Vontavious Porter, and
He's coming! Nobody to stop me, nobody to hold my balls. Nobody controls my balls.
Oh my God! Oh!
Bro, same. me when I see MVP. I will say as a quick aside, chat, I really appreciate that you guys are able to... No, I know, that was incredible timing. Wow! The fire dude, that fucking... Dude, that fire wasn't fire. It was Zach's ejaculation. It was Zach's massive jorculation.
from Toronto, Canada, weighing 223 pounds, he is the world.
This right here is a great sight, chat.
Christian.
It's Christian goddamn Cage with the World Heavyweight Championship. You love to see it. For the peeps! But no, as a quick aside, chat, I really appreciate that you guys are willing to indulge in my fucking, you know, like, autistic interests and hyperfixations. Like Sonic. Like wrestling, obviously. And even though I'm not really a big horse person anymore, I have a lot of fondness for it. So I'm glad that you guys are able to indulge in it with me. Day of Reckoning legend Christian, played by Red Cold Ritsu. What I'm trying to say is I really, really appreciate you guys. And I love this community very much. Anyways, let's get into it, chat.
To determine who the best competitor is here tonight. Christian has the arm.
Best version of Last Surprise.
Spilling out of the ring. Yeah, Christian. Let the peeps hear it.
Now, how do you feel about this MVP gear? The red is very off-putting to me. I preferred it when he was in a full bodysuit, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. The headband, I think, is a really... the headband, I think, is kind of a neat choice.
What do you think MVP's feeling right now?
Yeah, well, we all know about his past success. And I hate to say it, but Raw and any other WWE brand are completely different animals.
But no, I feel like I just kind of enjoy it more when he has a full bodysuit. And one that's not so blindingly red. And this inflatable balloon entrance. Yeah, they got rid of that. They got rid of that so quick, dude. Like, that shit sucks. That they got rid of it.
He drops the elbow.
Come on, Christian. Remember the Miz's balloon entrance at Mania 27? Yeah, they took all the balloon budget for fucking MVP and they put it into the goddamn Miz, chat. They put it into the Miz.
A sharp elbow drop. Oh, man. Paintbrush.
Absolutely absurd shit. I prefer his asshole look. Wait, which... I prefer his asshole look. Wait, who? The Miz? Or MVP? I hope WWE 2K27 has a showcase for The Miz. I kind of...
Early on in his life.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you, chat. I'm not a ginormous fan of The Miz, but if you asked me if The Miz was a good wrestler, I would say yes. I would say yes, honestly. I feel like for the majority of his career, he's always been fucking solid. And he's a really good person to get a good match out of people. It was also really smart about like his career as well, if we're being perfectly honest.
From the ring to the floor.
I want shit for an AEW. Fuck wanting shit for WWE 2K27. I want shit for an AEW Fight Forever sequel. I want revenge mode back from WrestleMania 9.
That suplex was picture perfect. MVP's in trouble. Wicked shot to the arm.
Alternatively, a new Fire Pro release, please.
Delivered with a lot of force. MVP.
If nothing else, the fans will keep Fire Pro World alive forever. So, the scared eyes with the closed eyelids looks weird. It does, doesn't it?
And a jaw-jacking punch. MVP. He's got him.
Right, into the cover for MVP. Oh, Christian got out. Guy, I love this version of Last Surprise. So hype. I know, it's great. Reminds me of the abominations people made with meats. That's a fucking incredible shot. Wow. That was a very close 2 count by Christian, though. I was a little scared he wouldn't kick out of that. And of course, chat. On top of this match, we have our main event. And it is an Extreme Rules match for the ECW Championship. It will be Chavo Guerrero taking on CM Punk in the main event here tonight.
And there's the belly-to-belly choke.
MVP proving why he is the WWE Champion here tonight. By getting a win over Christian Cage. Nice. Not what I would have wanted, but you know what? That's fair. It's good. Fire Pro Wrestling is peak. I'd rather they make whatever sequel to that into a ginormous add-on DLC pack instead. I mean, like, at this point, you know, the roster for Fire Pro World, at least the New Japan roster, is hilariously out of date. Like, the New Japan add-on roster is hilariously out of date.
I mean, there's absolutely no way to underscore how big this victory is.
All right.
That's the biggest in his life.
And with that, Raw gets another draft pick here tonight. Rolling a D30. 24. I could have sworn that we got 24 already. Okay, cool. Oh, Tom, I didn't realize that you were talking about me. I literally thought that you were talking about, I thought that you were talking about, like a weird expression that someone in the game made. I didn't realize you were talking about my model when you were referring to the scared eyes with the closed eyelids. You know what? I like this look. This fucking look is awesome. Hold on. I fucking like that look. It's honestly cool as hell. All right. So we rolled 24. on the draft die. So let's see who goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. No way! Dude, it's Mike Knox. Ace is in A-Tone. Mike Knox is going to Raw. The second half of Truth and Consequences. Truth and Consequences is reunited on Raw here tonight. Holy fucking shit. Fort Knox. Dude. Mike comes a Knoxing. Dude, I'm confident that I've seen more of Mike Knox than any other wrestling fan has ever seen of Mike Knox. Between my booking simulators, rewatching wrestling with the Superkick Show guys, and these games, I have seen more of Mike Knox than probably any other wrestling fan, and I still have no clue what this motherfucker sounds like on the mic. Maybe I need to watch actual WWE CW shows. Or maybe I don't, because, you know, they're WWE CW. How about this? Let's not and say we did. Alright. Our final match of the evening is, you know what? Fuck it. It's TLC for the ECW Championship as Chavo goes up against CM Punk. But not just any CM Punk, but this one. With the mask. In a singles match. Not only is a draft pick on the line in this TLC match, but also the ECW Championship. Who is leaving with the belt and the final draft pick of our SVR 2011 draft. Also awesome, you do have the DLC. And I got it completely fairly and legitimately. Trust me on that. Anyways. Alright, TLC match here for the ECW Championship as Chavo, who got a front row ticket no less to Superstar.
215 pounds, Chavo Guerrero,
calling his shot for CM Punk tonight on SmackDown in the main event in a TLC match. Let's go Kerwin White, LOL. Oh, don't say that. Listen, Chavo might have gotten squashed by Kane a couple years ago, but listen, fresh start. Fresh start. We can fucking do this, right? Oh man, I just realized this is a heel versus heel match, chat. This right here is a heel versus heel match. I think we might have over-egged things a little bit. But let's see. Straight Edge Society CM Punk in the mask. And the green... Dude, in the green gear is crazy. This is like seafoam green CM Punk gear.
the ECW champion, CM Punk.
This is like seafoam green, Dookie era Billy Joe Armstrong guitar. tight beat. At least this wasn't. Aw, dude, these nuggies I made for dinner are freezer burnt. Ah, no, no. Are they Dino Nuggets? We've seen a lot of CM Punk on this night, chat. I'll be honest. There it is for the ECW Championship. No, just regular nugs. Man, that stinks.
Oh boy.
So,
this should be an outstanding match.
So, would this match pop off in real life or no? Because I've heard a lot of things about Chavo, almost none of them being good.
This TLC match, tables, ladders, and chairs are strewn.
All right, big fight.
It can all be used as weapons.
I also had a big ass bowl of mac and cheese to go with it, though. Dude, you're like 7-year-old maxing. That's awesome. I'm happy for you. You're putting that shit away like you're 5 years old. I'm proud of you, bro. No way. No way. No way. Okay, I was about to say, are we about to like have this end immediately? If this ECW title at least had a color splash to it, it wouldn't be remembered too negatively. I mean, we got fucking fans of the ECW Championship in this chat tonight, so. Ah! Oh!
That'll leave a mark.
Right on the back of CM Punk.
Punk controlling the arm. Ooh. Oh man, paintbrush.
Dude, his back is screaming. Got a 7-year-old Max to get the fog out. I understand. What the? Holy shit! The great weapon physics at work here. Wow.
I love
Chavo
SmackDown.
stopping at nothing to win the gold here tonight, chat. Even going so far as to stun himself. Dude, he can't stop. Whoa! Dude, they are losing the plot here so quick. They are losing the plot of this match so fast. Holy shit! Dude, that ladder has some mind of its own. God, I love SVR 11. I do too. Holy shit. Dude, so much happened in the past like 20 seconds. So much happened in 20 seconds. I didn't even sell the table breaking there. It broke with like a knee drop.
Aggressive shot to the midsection.
God, I'm glad this is the main event. Wow.
Oh no! Watch out!
Epic Hurricane Rana there, face first onto the ladder for CM Punk there. You can say holy shit in my chat, Idea Maker. Let's fucking not infantilize this. Especially with how much I curse, it's fine. SVR 11 weapon physics and WWE 2K26 ragdoll physics would make me the happiest 22-year-old alive. Dude, no shit. That would go so hard through the table for Chavo! Ah!
That's an accolade he'll enjoy reminding you of any chance he gets.
Holy shit! Now they're brawling on the top of the ladder.
Still not through. Oh, look at this. A great European uppercut.
And CM Punk needs to freaking... He needs to pick up the pace here, dude. He's in danger of losing this match. He's in crazy danger of losing this match if he doesn't pick up the pace.
CM Punk with an amazing maneuver.
I found that eating the nugs with the mac and cheese cancels out the freezer burntness of the nugs. Good. Alright, well, Chavo doesn't want it that bad, I guess. Hold on. Hold the fucking phone. Chavo? 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 Chavo! And he broke. Oh no! Oh no! Chavo broke his arm on the way down. He's gonna have to relinquish the belt. Chavo broke his fucking elbow on the way down. That shit was shattered. So shattered that he dropped the belt. I don't think he's gonna be able to defend it after that, chat. Want to take one more bump so the crowd home happy. Look at this, chat. Oh no, I guess we're not gonna look at it.
Here's your winner and the new ECW champion, Chavo Guerrero.
Good job, Chavo. Or is he gonna climb the ladder or no? Okay, good. Okay, good. He's gonna climb the ladder. And with that, we have, dude, we start this stream with a new champion. We end it with a new champion. CM Punk has lost the ECW title, and SmackDown has lost another draft pick. This has been a very Raw-centric draft, I'll have to be honest with you. SmackDown is actually worse off after it than it was at the start. You know that Eddie is looking down on his hermano, man. I know. Eddie's looking down on Chavo here, being like, man, you should have gone to TNA, I say. Gonna make myself some Dino Nugs and hope those aren't freezer burnt too. Aw. So, like, I guess they don't really cancel out enough then. Man, SmackDown got, like, pillaged here tonight. I'm gonna... You know what? I'm gonna throw SmackDown a couple bones, okay? Because I realized that we fired Randy Orton. But then, as the GM, I think it's pretty important that, you know, the shows are stacked. You should have gone to TNA. I say. They do, but eating freezer burnt stuff isn't exactly good. No, I know. But like you're eating processed chicken products, so you know. You gotta take the good with the bad. So I'm actually putting these guys back on SmackDown because I would like for SmackDown to have a little bit more than what we've given them. They will end with 30 guys, but we're gonna take the final count for Raw after this. So hold on. 26 is what we rolled. So here we are. Let's go to the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. RVD, the new $1 million champion, is going to Raw, chat. Holy shit. After relieving Ted DiBiase of the belt, their feud, I guess, is going to continue. It will continue on Monday nights here. I would imagine that old Ted Jr. is not done quite yet with RVD. Oh boy, #1 contenders match for I have to imagine the $1 million championship between The Miz, Rob Van Dam himself. That's so fucking true. Wait, tag team ladder match? The Controller versus Batista? Holy shit, and that's main eventing? That's an incredible main event. What? RVD would probably make a great gimmick with the $1 million title. Honestly, yeah. Honestly, yeah. I would love to see that. So right now, our champions are thus, okay? We have Divas champion Alicia Fox, WCW champion Batista. Wait, hold on. We didn't crown a hardcore champion. I think we need to change that, chat. ECW champion Chavo Guerrero. Ooh, Chavo. US champion Chris Jericho. World Heavyweight champion Christian. Tag team champs the Hart Dynasty. Intercontinental champion Dolph Ziggler. Let's see here. We ignore him. Women's champ Michelle McCool. WWE champion MVP. $1 million champion Rob Van Dam.
Hello, Mario.
Hi, Patch. Wanted to at least say hi. Hi, Patch. How are you? Jimmy Snuka's my favorite murderer. And that's really it. I feel like we need to have one more match, chat. Just got done with D&D. Well, I appreciate you fucking, joining us here tonight, friend. No, I think we need to have one more match, chat. We need to have an Extreme Rules match for the Hardcore Championship, right? And not just any Extreme... Sorry, not just any Extreme Rules match. But... triple threat. Between... Yoshitatsu... Wait, no, that's not Yoshitatsu. That's Yoshitatsu. No, I don't want to, like, weigh this too heavily in favor of one guy, so... Santino. You know what, yeah, we're gonna do Santino. Dude, you know it's like an old game when Yoshitatsu is higher in overall than Cody Rhodes. Like, you know it's fucking fucked up. When Yoshitatsu is better than Cody Rhodes. I miss this theme for Drew, as does everyone. As does literally everybody. No, hold on, actually. I'm gonna do something here. Let's do this Fatal 4-Way style, baby. Yoshitatsu, Drew McIntyre, the Druid, and... I want a SmackDown guy. And because he pops the boys, Vance Archer. What is Yoshi's rating? 83. Cody is 81.
It's almost time for a 2.5-minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
Before we start our main event here tonight, let's go ahead and run an ad.
It's break time. Where the heck's the Cheetos, my dudes?
Raw concludes after this right here.
The first Super
God
Nintendo
damn
game
it.
ever from Disney Interactive is Toy Story. When
You know
pop
what?
in this
It's very
game,
fitting
the
that
first
this is
thing
the
you notice
final
is the
one. I'll
poor
be back,
edgy
chat.
Woody. the main character of the movie and the character you control in the game. The Toy Story movie was done with Silicon Graphics computers, and the instruction booklet says the game's graphics were created with the same 3D computer models that were used in the making of the blockbuster movie. We don't know, however, if the game actually used Silicon Graphics computers. If SGI computers were involved, we suspect they were only used for character animation, because the backgrounds do not have the detailed quality graphics of Donkey Kong Country. As any good devoted game player knows, Donkey Kong Country was created with Silicon Graphics computers and doesn't have edging problems. What's even more strange is that Woody is the only character with edging problems. All the other characters look great. The game's packaging box advertises an intensely 3D experience, but that statement is a bit misleading because the gameplay, although varied, is often two-dimensional. One question still remains. Why didn't Disney Interactive use Silicon Graphics computers for the entire game? Were they too expensive? I don't think so. Come on, Big Disney is one of the richest corporations in the country. Let's get real here. The only explanation we can think of is that Disney Interactive did not use SGI computers because the graphics could not be handled by the Genesis for the Genesis version. Maybe that's why the game has nowhere near as many colors and detailed graphics as Donkey Kong. However, even that explanation doesn't seem plausible because Disney would have to be insane to pass up the chance of creating another Donkey Kong Country. Besides, the Genesis version and the Super NES version don't have to be exactly the same, so what's the big deal? Disney certainly has the money to make another Donkey Kong Country, but unfortunately, they blew it. Another thing that confuses us is Disney's marketing strategy. Since Pocahontas appeared in the theaters before Toy Story, why did the Toy Story video game come out before the Pocahontas game? Perhaps the Pocahontas game is being saved until the movie is released on video for some sort of joint marketing strategy. The last negative thing we have to say about this game is about the play control. In the third level, players will start foaming at the mouth when they can't jump up to the rope at the top of the screen. No matter how fancy you get in trying to bounce off the ball and up to the rope, you will most likely not reach the darn thing. This kind of play control flaw is inexcusable, since Disney should have noticed it and fixed it. Realistically, you could end up trying 20 times to get Woody to grasp that stupid rope before you actually get it.
Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
You may want to slam Doom into your Super NES and take out your anger by shooting a bunch of evil aliens. Then again, Doom is an extremely difficult game, so it might just make the problem worse. You might think we've come down hard on Toy Story. Well, we admit we have. It's a shame, though, that the outstanding gameplay quality resulting from the developers' hard work is masked by the impossibly high challenge level. Toy Story is too difficult, like The Lion King. Fortunately for you, though, we've discovered two awesome ways to cheat in Toy Story. In the first level, bounce off the first beach ball you see and land on the bottom drawer of the dresser on the right. Duck down until the sheriff's star icon starts spinning in the upper left corner of the screen. Next, get on top of the dresser where you'll find the bucket of toy soldiers. Stand on top of the bucket, then press down while waiting for the lid to move 10 times. At this point, the stage select is activated. To skip any stage at any time, just press start followed by select. You can't win Toy Story without cheating, and this cheating brings victory much too quickly to warrant spending your money. People don't spend $60 on a game they know they can beat. With that in mind, one wonders why companies release game codes and stage selects. Video game buying has become too much of a game. No pun intended. The game is about finding a game that's not too hard, but not by any means easy. Codes and other cheats make games easy and not worth buying. Unfortunately, there's no way to tell if a game will last, or if a code will be released that makes it yesterday's news. There is, however, one last bastion: role-playing games like Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy III. These games will never fail you as far as challenge goes, but the potential for these games to become interactive movies has yet to be realized. With the Nintendo Ultra 64, however, that will surely change. Some of you may have seen screenshots of Toy Story and thought the graphics were poor. Indeed, screenshots do not represent the game well. Seeing the game in motion may actually impress you. Although Toy Story's graphics aren't perfect, they are pleasant looking, and the gameplay is refreshing. In the first level, for example, you have to let the toy troops out of their bucket. Stand next to the bucket and press A. Then listen. A perfect soundbite from the movie.
You know, this right here was a good idea in the moment.
Your chore doesn't end there, though. Once you've dispersed the troops, go knock the walkie-talkie off the shelf by standing next to it, kneeling, and pressing A. The walkie-talkie will fall onto the floor so the troops can carry it downstairs and set up their recon post.
This seemed like
Next,
a good idea in the moment, chat.
That Woody will use to communicate with the troops. In the second level,
I'm not
the goal
sure
is
if
to
it
get
is,
all the
though.
toys back where they were before Andy gets upstairs and finds them out of place. Knock the blocks out of the pig's way so he can get down to the floor. Get on the pump and get ready to
Such
jump
a
on it
long
when the pig
review.
walks by so that
It's
you can
7
boost it into
minutes,
the toy
dude. It's
chest.
like full
Repeat
length.
this process with the little toy robot, then do the same for Rex, the wimpy but lovable green dinosaur.
It's
Hey,
the
at least
only
he isn't
one
Barney.
on the Gitsy
Next,
channel
knock blocks away
that's
with your
full
pull string by
length.
pressing A to free the action figure toy named Biff. Speaking of action figures, take a look at this one. It's a takeoff of Blanca from Street Fighter 2. Also notice the similarities to
I'm
other
just
Street
sitting over
Fighter
here
characters on
eating
the
some
package
fat
design.
fucking nuts,
Aha!
chap.
We caught these guys ripping off Capcom. Anyway, let's get back to Toy Story.
And by that,
Once
I
Biff is
mean
free, You'll
almonds.
push the bucket over to the crane. The crane will then raise the bucket so the remote control race car can pass underneath. Biff and the car will get back to their place under the bed. So all that's left for you is to get in your place, which is on
Hello,
the bed.
Mario.
Do that and the level
Oh, sounds
will
like I just got
Next,
here in
you must battle a
time.
nightmare version of Buzz Lightyear. Hit him on his
I
face
love-
shield with your pull
I
string
love how
and
that's
Buzz
what you walk in
lasers.
on,
Buzz will
Soul.
warn you before he shoots a laser.
Just
So
me
be sure
seeing
to
I'm
listen
eating some
carefully for his
fat
egotistical
fucking nuts.
taunting. As for the rest of the game, we have a few general hints for you. First of all, collecting stars helps you stay alive. So even though the task is boring, do it anyway. Second, read the messages put up by the Etch-a-Sketch before each level. It tells you what to do.
I mean, that's really just a
Third,
lesson
don't
for
try to
life,
rush through
chat.
the third
Even
level
though,
to beat Buzz Lightyear. You'll
you know,
never
there's
win.
some things in
After all,
life
he
that
is
help
a
you stay
space ranger,
alive, and
or at
even
least he
though it's
thinks he is. Lastly, we recommend
Sorry.
seeing the movie first,
Even
so you
though
don't have to
that
read
it's
all the
boring, you
text
gotta
in
do it
between
anyway.
stages. Bottom line, when all is said and done, Toy Story
Like
has better
cooking
gameplay
and
than
eating
either of the
vegetables
Donkey Kong Country
and
games.
wiping your
The player
ass.
should even be able to adjust to the flawed play control. Toy Story's great gameplay is shrouded, however, by frustrating challenge and play control, and the cheating methods destroy what's left of the game after that.
Also,
Now,
chat.
check out our review of Toy
Also,
Story,
chat.
the
I've spent
movie.
this whole time just looking at the Sonic horses, specifically Amy Rose. I'm pretty sure this is my comfort character now. I'm pretty sure that horse Amy Rose is my comfort character now. Like, I see it and I'm filled with serotonin. Okay? I'm filled with serotonin. Can you show the pic? Absolutely. Look at this. We love Amy Rose in this house, yes. But we also love Tails! We also love Tails! Look at Tails! Look at his, like, metal wings. Look at how they, like, drew his two tails. Look at his little blep. Look at his goggles. Everything about this guy is perfect. Everything about this guy is perfect, but the Amy one is perfecter, I feel like. Also, where's your model? It's right here. I'm right here. But yeah. I looked at this, like, Amy one, and I'm pretty sure this is my comfort character now. Whenever I feel sad or upset, I will just look upon the Amy model, and I will be very, very, very happy. I'm filled with serotonin. Oh, the autistic guy loves the Sonic MLP crossover. Yes, it's so Amy. Like, when I see this, this is exactly what I imagine Amy as a horse looking like. I love it very, very much. It's so cute. It's so pink. It's so round. It's so soft. I love it very much. And I love that she's a unicorn as well. She, like, uses it to pick up her hammer. It's great. Anyways. No, I'm not gonna apologize for fucking tisming out. We are over that in 2026. I love this character, and I'm glad that you love it too. I'm glad that you love it too. Whoa! Alright, well, we can only end this in one place, chat, and that's ECW. Alright, here we go. We never apologize for tisming out. I used to apologize for that, and I still do sometimes. But not today. Not tonight. Not tonight. Not on this night. In Germany,
Contest is an Extreme Rules match.
not a single German in this match.
Introducing first,
I made a 1-hour video for a Discord server giving their OCs Digimon. That's so cool.
Yoshi Tatsu.
Is that just something you wanted to do, like, on a whim? Yeah, yeah.
McIntyre.
Also, this theme fucks so hard. It does, and I wish WWE would stop teasing people with it. What? Okay. and the crowd loves it too. They're going crazy for this theme. Yoshitatsu loves Sonic the Hedgehog, especially Espio the Chameleon. He practiced the art of invisibility there. Now look at baby Drew McIntyre, chat. They're out here popping for The Undertaker, knowing that he's not in this match. They brought the theme back from one night and never again. They really didn't bring it back.
And their opponent.
Yes, Tony? dude, Tony's fucking stun locked by the druid. I would be too, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. But no, they didn't even really bring the theme back. They had it for like a pre-match video package, and then he just came out to his usual theme. And their opponent, who? Druid who? Tony has no clue who this guy is, but he's my goat. Will he walk out with the Hardcore Championship here tonight, chat? I don't know if I want to start like a betting pool. Should I start a betting pool? I kind of do. I kind of want to start a betting pool. Let's start a betting pool. Here, I'm gonna do 1 minute. Who win? The worst stats in the game as well, LOL. It's great, right? That's just fucking awesome. Oh, he's staring down Yoshitatsu, dude. Wow.
And their opponent from Dallas, Texas.
He's secretly the first 200 overall, LOL.
Archer.
Dude, look at beardless Lance Archer. That right there's a jump scare if I've ever seen one. Alright, you got a few more seconds in the prediction poll, y'all. I am scared of beardless Lance Archer, chat. My goat, my M-goat, most guy of all time. Dude.
Here we go, folks.
I mean this with the utmost respect. Beardless Lance Archer looks... He looks like he would be the subject of a post on r/niceguys. I mean that with the most respect to the man as possible. But beardless Vance Archer is not it. It is not it at all. Okay? Not just no beard, no white boy dreads. Exactly. Like, how are you gonna have Lance Archer and no white boy dreads? You know?
In these no disqualification matches,
I don't think you can.
the most innovative superstar, the one that comes up with a unique way of dealing damage that's able to score the win.
I don't think you can, chat.
Textbook suplex.
Alright, Yoshi, let's go, bud. I have faith that Yoshi can win this. Honestly.
To the gut. And he gets leveled. Oh, mama! That'll cause some damage, and he's toast.
He just looks so much smaller in this game. Probably because he was smaller in this game.
Something that can ate him in his no disqualification match.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was smaller in this game.
Vance Archer has the arm.
Oh, the Druid is getting the fucking... Yeah, the Druid's getting his shit pushed in, chat.
Just devastating. Yoshitatsu.
Man, Vance and Yoshi are teaming up here, guys.
Nasty elbow. Yoshitatsu controlling the arm.
There's so much double teaming in this match. Also, Smooth Druid looks like a tall child. He does, though. Like, everyone in this match is a baby. Besides maybe the Druid, because he's probably ageless. Like, even the Druid looks like a baby.
McIntyre from behind.
Right, finally the Druid's getting something in. It took a minute, but he's getting something in here.
Possibly looking for an object in this no disqualification match.
Finally, we're getting some friggin' weapons in this match. Oh,
Expression plus
really? they have no clue what's going on, chat.
This could be over quick.
under the rules of a no disqualification.
Chat, I swear to God, if Vance Archer wins this, I'm turning the stream off immediately. I'm turning this stream off immediately if Vance Archer wins this shit. I'm not kidding.
The damage has definitely been done. Now it may just be a matter of time.
I'm backflipping off the Empire State Building in Minecraft.
What a devastating move by Archer.
That was vicious. He's just brutalizing his opponent. Uh-oh. Destruction is definitely on.
Come on, Yoshi. Going after the plunder. Yeah, finally we're getting some weapons in this matchup.
This has been. This no disqualification, anything goes match. He's enjoying this. Ooh.
Now we have the Ukes AI special, just having 2 singles matches going on at once. Okay, hold on. Hold on, we're breaking it up.
Now with a chair. Wow. If he keeps this up, this could be over quick.
Dude, this fucking AI is... This AI is so frantic. What is happening? Stop! Let's go, Druid! Clap, 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 clap. Well, they just put no disqualification and anything goes next to each other in one sentence. Because the Fed has 1 million names for no DQ matches. I mean, wrestling in general has 1 million names for no DQ matches.
He almost took his head off with that lariat. Vance Archer. Oh my, just raw, unmitigated power.
What? Double pin!
Tatsu kicks out at 2.5.
Holy shit!
That could have been it right there.
Dude, which one? Dude, which one was the ref counting? We may never know. No way. Is he gonna break it? Oh, he does!
6'9", 270 pounds. That should do it right there. Oh, talk about a time to say this match isn't over yet. Oh my gosh. They just nailed his opponent with that.
What a fucking ladder break. No! And onto the wreckage of the ladder goes Yoshitatsu.
What a devastating move.
I'll be honest, Chad, it's not looking good for him. It's not looking good for anybody in this match except for maybe Vance.
I don't know if you got all of that. Archer.
Archer!
What a devastating move by Archer.
What? 2 pins at once? The Druid does not go down.
Continues.
Oh, right to the gut. He's really going for it now.
I'm sorry, Chad, but my bets are on Yoshi. I love how the Druid doesn't have a face. Wait, really? Okay. Why Yoshitatsu did it! What? Chat, was that a 3 count? I genuinely don't know if that was a 3 count, was it? But no, I love how the druid doesn't have a visible face, so when he bleeds, it just means nothing. Yeah, that was a 3 count. Yeah. That was a confusing finish. Hold on. Vance with the attempted breakup. Hold on. I want to see it again. We need to see this again. Into the bridge. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Well, that right there was a breakup.
Here's your winner.
And the new hardcore champion, Yoshitatsu. Wow. Congratulations to Yoshitatsu. You will now need to defend this belt on every episode of Superstars. Every single episode. Now you know what that means, chat. Main event Yoshi on the A show Superstars. Just as God intended. The Bullet Club Hunter. Think now that it's over, Yoshitatsu won. Oh yeah, hold on. Even though I voted for Druid, let's fucking go. Oh yeah, that's right. Hold on. Man, y'all really wanted Druid, huh? Well, unfortunately, it was Yoshitatsu. So. You know what? I'm glad that I turned blood on, because I genuinely thought that I forgot to do it at one point. All right, hold on. Why gold dust fly? Upset victory. Chavo Guerrero defeats CM Punk in what was a David and Goliath victory. Oh, I bet we're gonna fucking see that many times. All right, where are we in the rankings? MVP for US champion. Even though he's already the WWE champion? The Bullet Club Hunter. Yoshitatsu. And now, hardcore champion. Yoshitatsu. Oh wait, I can't vacate the title. Okay. I didn't realize that. Hold on. Oh wow, Yoshi actually did get some votes. I didn't even see that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that we're done for the night. But we have quite a bit to look forward to next time, I think. What? Okay, well that's... Dude, a new era of WWE is upon us. Shelton Benjamin and William Regal in the main event. Dude, that's insane. And we also have a #1 contenders match here. For I'd imagine either the US or the $1 Million Championship. It's definitely the US belt. But it's very fun to imagine that it's actually the, it's very fun to imagine that it's actually not that. I mean, I could alter it and just make the match be for the $1 Million Championship. Like, I've got jurisdiction, I feel like. I've got the jurisdiction. So, yeah. Going forward, Yoshitatsu is going to defend his $1 Million Championship every Thursday on Superstars. Not only that, but we also need to kind of figure out how we're going to, kind of, you know, divvy out these shows. Because I think watching every match on every show is not really good, right? So, I think what we need to do is we need to, like, choose one match per show, right? We need to choose one match per show to watch. Maybe 2 if we're really feeling the card. But I think in order to just make sure that we're keeping things moving along, we need to like keep it to like 1 or 2 matches per show, right? With Superstars, we will only watch 1 match. Because in order to keep the meme alive, we need to watch Superstars. Which I feel like by default it should probably be like, you know, the hardcore championship match. But we can cross that bridge when we come to it. For now, I think we're done for the night, chat. Y'all have shown me a lot of love this evening, and I appreciate that. The streams need to end at some point, so watching the whole thing probably isn't the play. No, it's not. No, it's not. However, for the pay-per-views, we're gonna watch all of those. Rather, we're gonna watch, you know, those shows front to back. And again, we're gonna be running SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 through TLC. At which point, we're gonna switch over to WWE 12. But yeah. This has been a very fun start to this series, chat, and I'm really looking forward to continuing it with all of you. Thank you all very much for indulging in my hyperfixations with me. This was fun. Thank you, Stev. Absolutely. Thank you for fucking making it more fun. You know, I said it before, but I really appreciate everyone just fucking indulging in my hyperfixations with me, be it, you know, Sonic, horse, wrestling, whatever. Y'all make this very, very fun for me, even as we approach the 4-year mark of my VTubing career, I guess you could call it. I'm having a lot of fun. More fun than I've probably had in a long time. So, thank you all very much. And, yeah, we'll start Universe Mode proper next weekend, because we're going to be doing this every weekend for at least, you know, a handful of weeks, and then we might, you know, drop it after we finish SVR 11, and then we'll pick it up at 12 once we're feeling the mood again. Damn, 4 years already. It's already been almost 4 years, and in that time I met a lot of really cool people. I met a lot of new friends. I've gotten incredible opportunities to, you know, work on projects with people. It's been a great ride, and thank you for being a part of it, everyone. I'm gonna send you over to someone. I don't know who, but I'll figure it out. I will go ahead and actually send you over to, let's see here. Let's see. I want to be someone that I'm not really rated into, but also someone that's under 100. Or someone that's like under 100 viewers. Woo! Woo! Here. Well, here's the raid message. Rather, I'm just gonna prep the command. Oh. I don't know. Let's see here. Or will someone... Well, we were talking about Sonic earlier, so maybe I'll raid into... you know, a Sonic VTuber. Right now they're playing... Somehow, they're playing Outcome Memories, but better, in quotations. I don't even know how it's possible. But I would like to see what this is all about. So, yeah, I'm gonna send you all over to GirafaStev over here, who's somehow playing Sonic.exe Outcome Memories. Again, I don't even know how that's possible in modern day, but they are. So show them some love. again, I really appreciate everyone for fucking hanging out with me tonight. Be sure to follow the Twitch channel if you're not done so already. Join us over on the Discord. We don't do weekly watch-alongs anymore, but we watch a lot of wrestling over there, be it, AEW, New Japan, Indies, so on and so forth. And I try to, do like live watch-alongs of, the events as they happen. Follow me on my socials as well. I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on YouTube 2 times over as a highlights channel and as a VOD channel. I'm on TikTok. Yeah, I'm on all that shit. Come and catch me on there. And catch me next week with my friend Zachary as we finish up the regular season of Backyard Baseball 2001. The fucking humongous Hornets are going to the playoffs, baby. Mark my words. I mean, we are. We've already clinched a spot. But let's crush the rest of the fucking division on our way there. I'll see y'all. Have a good night, everyone.